You were born on a cliffside ledge carved by the sea wind, with cold, hard rock behind you and a sheer drop to the ocean below. This isn't Azkaban, it's your crib, apparently. Welcome to the least hospitable maternity ward in nature, a naked, bird poop-stained ledge where nothing grows. Your parents paused here briefly, dropped off an egg, and called it home. You barely open your eyes before a black beak comes hurtling toward your face. You try to duck, and the blow makes everything spin. No, she's not kissing you. She's shoving food down your throat. This is your first meal. Half a scaly fish, regurgitated and still warm, now with added parent spit. You're not sure how to swallow it, but here comes round two. You nearly drown in fish and love. Whether it's mom or dad, every return home means a mouthful of pre-loved seafood. You have no choice but to get used to it. Right now, that's your only way to stay alive. Open your mouth, swallow, survive. That's your whole life right now. But Mother Nature? She's not in the business of making things easy for birds. Here comes the storm. Powerful winds slam waves against the cliffs, with speeds reaching up to 40 kilometers per hour. You've got no feathers, skin thin as tissue paper, and you weigh a whopping 80 grams. Your body heat, courtesy of the sun and your parents taking turns playing space heater. Dad shows up through the wind and spray with a fish, crams it down your throat like he's stuffing a turkey. Mom gives him a look that says, "Your turn's up," then drags her skinny frame into the storm. That's the deal between them. No words, just shifts. Next morning, the storm's finally done beating the hell out of everything. Mom's back, feathers dripping with sea spray, packing a herring in her beak. The moment she lands, she pushes the fish into your mouth. Dad? He flaps off into the dawn to hunt for your next meal. 3 weeks later, you've finally got some respectable feathers, enough to shield against the incoming sea wind. You're up to 270 grams, looking less like a snack and more like something that might actually survive. Then your body starts to fidget. You are one of the most numerous birds in the Northern Hemisphere. There are 100,000 chicks just like you in this breeding ground alone. You see everyone else crowding toward the cliff edge, little wings flapping like mad. Your instincts kick in and tell you to get closer too. But your wings are still too short to keep you flying steady. You have to drop over 100 meters and somehow make it all the way to the sea. Suddenly, you hear a thump in the distance. The fat chick from next door went first and went straight down onto the grass, bounced a few times like a rubber ball, and finally stayed down. Didn't make it where it wanted, but didn't die either. Though it might be a little early to celebrate. You don't know him, but now you are scared. You stand at the edge of the cliff. Your mom is right behind you, and somehow that makes you feel a little better. You leap, spreading your tiny wings, flapping like crazy even though it is not doing much good. You start to float. Not flying, floating. For the first time in your little bird life, you are free from the ground. Then you hit the sea. Your dad is already waiting for you out on the water. He lets out a call and dives down, leaving a trail of bubbles behind him. You have to follow. Your mom is done feeding you. From now on, it's hunt or starve. This is your first dive. You barely break the surface, stir up some bubbles. You barely catch a breath when a gray face full of whiskers bursts out of the water, skimming right past you. Before you can even process what just happened, it chomps down on the chick that landed right behind you. And just like that, it vanishes beneath the surface. That is when it hits you. You are not the only one out here looking for a meal. You are on the menu too. That night, you drift on the waves, rocked by the sea, too nervous to really sleep. Next day, you try again, dive in, and finally catch a tiny shrimp. You swallow it and for the first time feel like maybe you've got a shot at this. The next few weeks, you float at sea, learning the real skills from your dad. You dive again and again, from 5 seconds underwater to 15, then almost 30. You learn to read the light and shadows to track the fish. You figure out how to dodge jellyfish tentacles and that terrifying gray shape. You chase little sardines, sometimes even nail a sprat. And when it hangs from your beak, you feel a little bit proud. You can finally survive on your own. Sure, you are always looking over your shoulder, but now you are cruising the coastline. From one rocky point to the next sandy cove, you drift along. You are not that trembling little thing on the cliff anymore. You are starting to look like a real seabird. Time flies. It's been over 3 years since you left the nest. Now you float around with a few others from your generation, waiting for something to change. Your conversations have slowly shifted from which fish tastes better to which female looks hotter. So this spring, for the first time, you head back to the cliff where it all started. At just over 4 years old, you're finally old enough to become a father. Your testicles have bulked up, your voice has dropped an octave, and your tail feathers stand tall like you mean business. For a male Guillemot, love is less about romance, more about stamina. You need to land right, stay steady, and wait your turn to be judged. Because the key is location. Those perfect cliff ledges, the ones that stick out just enough, that's where the ladies look. And if you're a female, the rules are a little different. All you need to do is fly past each ledge, check who's standing tall with sleek, well-kept feathers, and go with the one that looks built to last. But you're not her. You're just one of 40,000 hymns. So you pick your spot and start showing off the one thing you've got going for you, feathers. Because out here, visibility is everything. The females start arriving. They emerge from the fog, scanning the crowd like they've seen better. They land one by one on the ledges. One circles you twice and lands beside you. You inch closer, give her feathers a gentle tap with your beak. That's your version of a pickup line. She glances at a few messy feathers you missed, flaps once, and takes off. Strike 3. This week. 4th time around, you get serious. You snag the most visible ledge in the whole colony. You groom yourself 3 times over, tail feathers spread out like a tiny folding fan. She lands, the one you've been dreaming about since 2 weeks ago. You hold your breath and gently preen her feathers. She pecks her chest in return. You both start preening each other, making soft little throat sounds. It's an ancient love language. You've got yourself a mate. And soon she lays a perfect egg. You're officially a father, terrified, underqualified, and completely committed. You stand guard at the cliff ledge, all day, fending off wind and would-be predators. You take turns sitting on the egg. One heads out to hunt, the other stays put, pressing a bare patch of skin against the shell, holding the heat in with quiet obsession. 30 days pass. Then, one damp and breezy morning, you're doing what you always do, sitting, waiting, hoping. Suddenly, you hear a soft crack under your belly. The egg trembles. A tiny fracture appears. But it takes another full day for a soggy little head to finally break through. You look at it like you're seeing your own past, freshly hatched and thoroughly unprepared. Now, you and your partner care about exactly 3 things: where to catch fish, how fast you can regurgitate, and who feeds the kid first. One goes fishing, one stands guard. No discussion, no arguing. Perfect teamwork born from shared exhaustion. You dive again and again, chasing cod, sprats, herring. Once you caught a strip of floating plastic. You spat it out fast. You're not taking chances with your kid's meal. You come back with a fish held sideways in your beak. The moment she sees you, she opens her beak wide. That's her way of saying, "Serve me." You aim the fish head at her beak and gently slide it in. She swallows with a grunt, job done. You take your partner's place, guarding the small, soft, sleepy lump that now owns your life. She flies off, wings beating steady toward the fishing grounds miles away. Together, through shared body heat and endless supply runs, you've managed to keep this fragile new life alive, at least for now, in a world made of wind and waves. 15 years go by. You've raised many chicks with more than one mate. You're still hanging in there, but your body isn't what it used to be. You fly lower, slower. The edge of your beak is dull. Your feathers have lost their shine. The oil from your preen gland doesn't reach the tips anymore. You don't strike fish like you used to. Back then, one dive was enough. Now, it's dive after dive, and sometimes you just watch the fish flick its tail and vanish. You avoid the busy hunting grounds now. You go for loners, scrawny, slow, but less likely to humiliate you. You prefer being alone, not because you're noble, just because you can't keep up. Your mate found someone else after the breeding season. They stand on the ledge you once called home. You didn't fight them for it. You've known for years, loyalty in this colony is a seasonal rental. Once the term's up, no one owes anyone anything. Another winter rolls in. The ocean shifts. Currents misbehave. Nearshore waters warm up. Plankton disappear. Fish head offshore. You go a full day without food. Hunger messes with your judgment. You spot a flash of silver below. You dive. It isn't fish. It's a sheet of plastic. Smells like fish. Looks close enough. You don't get a second chance. You swallow. Hours later, something feels wrong. Your stomach's blocked. You try to dive, but can't sink. Even the sea goes quiet. You can't hear it anymore. You drift back toward shore, pushed by waves like trash. You survive 15 years. Fog, seals, storms. But it's the plastic that gets you. When the tide goes out, you lie in the rocks. The plastic won't rot, but you will.